What's the crack, everybody? Listen to the Discus Lariat Collective podcast. I'm your host, Warren, here with Glenn and Daryl, and today we are doing a quick kind of review of WrestleMania Night 1. So, yeah, before we get into it, anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and wherever you get your podcast, give us a follow there. But, yeah, we'll get right into it. The excitement yesterday, I'm not even messing, at catastrophic levels. I was... Like you can ask me, Mrs. I was buzzing all day. I'm not even messing. At one stage, I was literally just sitting, like I was like up against the bed like that, just leaning, watching my phone, and I'm like, oh, this is just taking ages now. It was around 11 o'clock, and I was like, this is just dragging. And then obviously the whole weather thing was throwing.
Was that because of mania, or was that because like your massive copious amounts of cocaine?
No, I've
got to ask.
Yeah, no, it was definitely mania.
Let's get on to the first match.
Yeah, so but no, I was absolutely buzzing. And that's the thing, I haven't really, even though like the likes of Royal Rumble, I was pretty pumped for that and stuff like that, don't get me wrong. But obviously WrestleMania, biggest show ever in terms of wrestling. Yeah. Nothing comes close. And then you have the fact that you had fans in attendance for the first time in over a year. Just a beautiful thing, and yeah, just so excited for it. And then obviously, the weather kind of threw everything in doubt a bit with the likes of the delays, fans taking out their seats and stuff. Like I knew it wasn't going to be cancelled. Like realistically, Vince wouldn't cancel it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I was kind of a bit like, oh, it's going to start about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be half asleep. But no, yeah, they started it. The show started. Great moment to open the show with Vince and the whole roster out there, basically saying thanks for supporting throughout COVID and this, that, and the other. It was a really nice touch, to be honest. And yeah, some of them were emotional. Yeah, some of the wrestlers were pretty emotional. But yeah, I loved it. Got goosebumps, a bit lump in the throat as well. I was like, oh Jesus, yeah, it's deadly. That's back now. Like, you know what I mean? Back in full swing. So yeah, it was just a nice moment to start. And then we had a half an hour delay, a few little kind of promos off the cuff. They were actually all really good, surprisingly. Like, and it just kind of shows here you don't always need that script in front of you. Just let them go and do it. So it looks like Kevin Owens cut a great one, stuff like that. And then, yeah, you can't be seeing Michael Cole in the poncho as well. Michael Cole and Samoa Joe. Yeah, amongst the fans, almost, it looked like, as my brother said, it looked like they were at Slane Castle waiting for Bon Jovi to come out on the stage.
but we've all been there.
Yeah. But yeah, it was actually, it's still that kind of added to the buzz as well. I was like, oh, Jesus, another half an hour I have to wait. But eventually,
Oxygen 2010 vibes off that I was getting.
It was actually pretty funny to see. But eventually then the show properly got started, and we had Bobby Lashley defend his WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre, and this was a banger.
Delivered.
Oh, absolutely.
They fucking delivered.
Yeah, I'll just touch on what I liked about it. The main thing is the fact that Bobby Mania was in full effect, full swing there. Bobby Lashley going over, loved it. It was just two, like as they kept saying, two big bulls, two absolute hosses in there, giving it all, and like fair balls to them, and they kicked lumps out of each other. And the likes of Drew hitting that massive outside dive, and fair balls for MVP jumping in there with an injured knee as well to support on that dive. It was very all like with the first match, it automatically felt this is going to be big tonight. Do you know what I mean? It felt like everyone was just going to go above and beyond. Really liked the match, and yeah, Bobby retained. So what about you, Darryl? What was your thoughts on it?
Oh, it was amazing. If you're going to have an opener to your first thing back, great. Two of them look just absolute powerhouses, and even though Drew lost, he didn't look weak at all. So yeah, it was a great match overall. But whoever's going to be facing Bobby next, they're going to be eating some mat.
Oh yeah, big time. Getting absolute pounding off the man. It was class though that Drew didn't tap out. It was just more like a referee stoppage as well, which was good. And what about you, Glenn? What do you think of the match that opened?
Yeah, in the wise words of Chris Jericho, you either go on first or you go on last. And you know, I won't even say bell to bell from start to finish. Theatrics to the entrance. I know we all slagged Drew on the sword. Couldn't fault it. Looked great. Crowd reactions. He was really feeling it. I feel like the moment he lost out on not having the fans last time was rewarded this time around. Emphasizing the 3 future shocks, I thought was excellent, smart scripting for a wrestling match, because the Claymore remains protected, so he can go on to continue to do bigger and brighter things. And honestly, if they're gonna have Lashley go on a tear, change his name from Bobby to Bob, because it just sounds harder, and let him be an active Lesnar, like 2003 Lesnar, or 2003, and let him just beat everyone. Just let him fucking commit absolute murder. Like, let him powerbomb MVP onto other superstars and then pin the superstar through MVP's chest with both knees dislocated. Fuck it. Just do it. Great match. Great.
Yeah.
From both lads.
Yeah, I think he will go on a serious tear now, to be honest. And it was great to see, because don't get me wrong, obviously it would have been cool either, like, whatever way you spun it, but I'm glad that they didn't just take the belt off Bobby and just give it straight back to McIntyre, because realistically you want, like, Bobby's proved himself as well, just as much as Lesnar throughout this whole pandemic. Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole business has been the thing to watch really on Raw. So, and that's spearheaded by Bobby Lashley. So, we'll move on. Next match was the Tag Team Turmoil match, and the winner receives women's tag title match. So yeah, there's a few teams in there. Let me see. So the winner anyway was Natalia and Tamina. I think Daryl called that, actually. I think you called it, didn't you? You said they were going to win.
The two of us did.
Did you? Yeah.
Or if I don't know. Daryl, did you call it as well?
I think he did.
Nah, well, I thought it was going to be Peyton Royce.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought, yeah, but
the Iconics type thing.
Any jocks on that one?
I said it was Natalia and Tamina written on the wall, and then yourself, Aaron, I think you picked the Royal Squad.
I picked the Royal Squad, yeah.
I was happy to be right on this one, just because it was the logic, classic WWE logic booking, but definitely happier to be wrong on the first match. But
yeah, like, it actually wasn't a bad match, the Tag Team Turmoil match. It was a bit like disjointed at certain parts. Obviously, you're gonna get that with so many teams in the ring and doing spots here and there. But I think the MVPs were actually the Royal Squad. They lasted the longest. They kind of, and it's good seeing, like, a tag team actually be a tag team. Do you know what I mean? And then the likes of Natalia and Tamina, they've kind of asserted their dominance the past few weeks as well. So that was kind of great to see. And I'm all for Natalia and Tamina. Like, I do feel bad sometimes when I see Natalia, because she's actually so good. And yes, she might not be like have that kind of level of charisma that some of the other girls do, but she's just as good as most of them. Do you know what I mean? And it's a shame that, like, you don't really see her kind of push that way. It's almost like the likes of Bret Hart when you think about it. And it's just a shame. But yeah, fair balls to them for winning. We won't go too much into this because, as I said, it was a bit just disjointed. But do you know what I mean?
There was one standout in Liv Morgan, but I do feel that she had this pressure put on her from the attention she was getting from being put in almost the spotlight of it. Like do you remember Kofi in the Elimination Chamber? It felt like that. But it did feel like I was watching a couple of them cave under it, like the odd fumble and that. Like, good all around. Like,
yeah, like, I will say one thing: the Riot Squad's kind of tag team finish how they do with the double knees code breaker thing, and then Ruby Riott jumps off the top of the senton. That's a savage finisher for the tag team, and it looks sick as well. Even for the likes of Ruby Riott, she bends almost when she hits them, because obviously the force are coming down. It's actually a really good finisher. But yeah, like, if you have any other things to throw in about that match, I can just move on if you want. It's up to you.
Oh, just hopefully that's the end of the little piglet, or the big piglet, and
Nia Jax and Shayna.
Nia Jax, yeah. Hopefully this is the end of them now, because like you said, Natalia's great. So hopefully she does get this little bit of a run, and
hope they take the titles. Yeah, hope they do take the titles now, just to kind of freshen things up a bit in the tag team division. Moving on to the more technical side then of the night was Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Absolute chef's kiss. My God, these boys went out and tore the house down. The entrances felt big, even if they, like, the likes of Seth Rollins, I know some of his kind of sticks of fire kind of went out, obviously with the breeze and the rain, obviously wasn't ideal, but still looked deadly. Cesaro, you could see the emotion in his face walking down. Even it was almost like, right, I've made it now, because I think he's at like 9 or 10 WrestleManias now, and he's had, like, this is his first singles match. Do you know what I mean? He's had tag team matches on pre-shows. He's had Andre the Giant Battle Royals, which he won once, but again, it doesn't really hold any weight. You don't get a title shot. You don't get nothing from it. So I think this was kind of like a crowning moment for Cesaro in terms of being pushed forward now into the main event scene. Hopefully, as I said with Daryl on one of our videos, I think he'll hold one of the big belts within the next 6 months. I honestly do. I think that could be, say, a transitional champion somewhere here and there, but I think Cesaro will. I think as well, both lads, the gear on point. That gear looked whopper as well. But yeah, the match itself, savage. Like, Rollins can just perform anyway. Do you know what I mean? And Cesaro can, as we've seen, but they pure left it all out there. Do you know what I mean? And it was one of the shorter matches, and, like, funny enough, but it felt like it went on for ages. And I'm delighted Cesaro got the win personally. What about you, Darryl?
Yeah, unbelievable. My match of the night, anyway. I know a lot of people are saying the women's match, But yeah, that was unbelievable. I think a lot of people were looking for that spot when Seth goes for the face stomp and then just gets cracked with the uppercut.
Yeah.
That was great. And then the spin on the back. My God, like I couldn't fault anything out of that match.
No,
just unbelievable. And again, another match where Seth, he didn't go over, he didn't win, but again, he didn't look weak.
Yeah, he looked great. And as you said, that spin around like on the back with the no hands and all, it's just amazing. Like the chap can do it all, really, he can.
I'm gonna try that with my young lad now in a few minutes.
Send him out the top window.
Yes.
What about you, Glenn? What's your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, look, it's been a tough week of wrestling matches to follow up. You have your Bullet Club reunion. You had the couple matches from the NXT Stand and Deliver, absolute stellar matches on those cards as well. So to be in the middle of the card, you're not main event, you're not fighting for a belt. You know, Rollins' former main event, I think that was only his second ever loss at Mania as well. Yeah, with the other one being the Orton. So I mean, having main evented back-to-back Manias for the belt and stuff, and then this lad, you know, in Cesaro having his first singles match beats Rollins, I think it carries more weight than you initially would see to kind of the naked eye. And then the match itself was faultless. Like, it didn't feel as short as it actually was. It did feel like it went on for much longer. And like that, all of the action was in the ring. Like it didn't feel like it's sluggish at any point. And can we just comment 22 rotations on the Cesaro swing?
Yeah.
My God, man. Yeah. What a Swiss Superman he is.
yeah, quite literally. It was amazing. I mean, I love it. And the crowd, then it kind of woke the crowd up a bit as well, because obviously they popped for Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Then they kind of died down a bit. Obviously, there will be ebb and flow. Then obviously with the tag team turmoil match, and plus the fact that you're sitting there soaking wet as well, you wouldn't really be at your peak again. Do you know what I mean? So that was a great way to kind of get them all back into it. We'll move on now. AJ Styles and Omos against the New Day for the tag team titles. This was just, I suppose, the definition of like a storytelling kind of match. It was really good because at first when I seen Omos walking down and he was in that fine pea coat, I was like, is this man going to wrestle in this? I didn't expect them to be in that kind of shirtless, sleeveless thing. Class, the way they did, like they teased the tag constantly, and Xavier Woods, what he got, fell around the place laughing, where he was like beating AJ in the corner, and he just sat roaring. He's like, "This is us effectively cutting off this ring. We're a tag team." I was like, "That is deadly." Just stuff like that, like just basically commentating the match. It reminds me of Booker T actually in TNA, where he was on commentary. He took the mic and he ran. Then he started kicking the shit. Everyone was like, "And there's Booker T. And there's Booker T. Oh, he's stopping him. He's that's what that reminded me of." It was deadly. The match was actually really good because the likes of Kofi and I wasn't expecting AJ to get such a beating, to be honest with you. The man took every move with the two boys, and then eventually he threw Kofi out of the ring, and then they were teasing the tag, and Xavier Woods up at the top rope like, "Don't do it, don't you do it." And then eventually Omos comes in and just proves his worth in about 4 moves. That's all he had to do. And again, like Darryl was high on him before he even came into the match. He was just like, this chap's going to be something, and he really was. Absolutely stole the show. He did. What's your thoughts on that,
Darryl? You smug fuck.
my man. Yeah, an absolute fucking unit. Yeah, I don't know what to say about him. Like, yeah, he said 4 moves. Like, unbelievable. Like, that's the difference that's what WWE have been missing. Like, that monster, that huge guy who can absolutely move. He's not like the Great Khali. He was absolutely rocking around. Yeah. But yeah, he was great. As well, I noticed as well the Omos and AJ were on like the kind of face side of the tag team. Yeah. So which is I don't know what the crack was with that, whether they were just trying to get Omos over. But if they're going to lose, I can see this going down the route of, if they lose the belts, AJ is going to be the one that's going to be eating the pit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Omos is going to just flip his shit. And then that's when he goes on to his solo career. Yeah. But I'd say that'll be pretty soon as well. I can't see it lasting too long with a man like him. But yeah, great. And he pinned Kofi. Like your
main eventer, like.
And he just stood him.
Yeah.
And pinned him. Like,
it really was almost
volumes about him,
it was a great moment then, for him, because it was literally like the New Day doing what they need to do now. Do you know what I mean? They're 11-time tag team champions. They didn't need to hold the belts for long. Do you know what I mean? Now it's their time to kind of pass them along. So yeah, great. And Glenn, what's your thoughts about it as well?
Yeah, as we touched on in our one of our last reviews there, everyone's favorite superstar of a generation started off in a tag team of some kind,
Yeah.
with one or two as an exception, and Omos will be no different. I can honestly see him getting the rub to fill the boots that not even the likes of Strowman or Shaw could fill, or Great Khali included, which is to be coined almost the joint in lieu of Andre. As far as booking goes, as far as your storytelling in the match goes, you couldn't have booked the guy better. You honestly couldn't have fucking given him the right fucking starting path. If all this goes well, he'll be an absolute main eventer, and he can only get better. Like, we've seen what big guys can do when they put in the work, and I see him going to the fucking moon. This is classic case of strap a rocket to his hole, and he's young enough to get some tenure into the business now. Like, he's not an outlet, like he's not fucking ancient either,
Yeah,
great work from the lads, and like you said, New Day really sold the match well as well.
Yeah, it was
less
savage.
is more.
Yeah, realistically, yeah, less is more.
Sure is. So.
Yeah,
quality over quantity and all that.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah, absolutely stamped his authority on the match, stamped his authority on the business already. We'll move on then. Another big guy then, Braun Strowman against Shane McMahon. Steel cage match. The build, awful. The story going in, awful. As I said before, and Daryl, a 51-year-old man. Why is he bullying a 7-foot monster? He'd be crushed. The man would be crushed. He's touching pension age here, like. But my God, the match actually delivered. Was not expecting it. Honest to God, that was the shocker for me. That match,
the dark horse of the
it really was. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's not a 5-star match. I'd give it a solid 6 to 7 out of 10 if I had to, because it did exactly what it needed to do. You had Braun get jumped before he went in. I did a great job then selling his leg in the match as well. At one stage, he tried to do the power slam, had to put him down. He was like, "No, my leg is gone." And then we had Shane actually escape the cage, and Braun tear the cage wall down, which is just never seen it before. No. Pulled him back in, bet the bollocks out of Shane then for another 5 minutes or so, and then just dumped him off the top of the cage. Amazing. And realistically, a 51-year-old man probably shouldn't be taking them bumps, but he is a big match player, really. Like, he actually is. Shane McMahon, he does stuff like that to help other guys for the most part. And Braun finally looked like the monster that he is. And I put up a tweet taking the piss because he kept saying during the match, he was like, "I'm doing this for all you guys who's ever been bullied or called stupid." And I was like, as a gobshite myself, I feel thankful for Braun Strowman for doing that.
Thank you, athletic 7-foot for 300-pound monster, for making me feel better about my 5'6" frame, you bastard.
Braun Strowman, Prince of the Fools. But yeah, it was good. That was actually a good match, fun. So, Daryl, what was your thoughts on it?
It was alright. For slating it so much. It was alright. The only thing I'm worrying about now is a load of nerds are going to start fucking the bullies off the top of prefabs now when they go back to school.
Yeah. Look out for your big boy Blake, because he's coming after you.
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
It was good.
Oh, sorry, you gone.
No, that's it.
I just wanted to say it was good. Yeah. What about you, Glenn?
Yeah, it's one match. Like you said, a fucking awful build. I think the best you are gonna get out of any Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman match for as long as you will ever live was always gonna be a max of 7 out of 10. So yeah, getting a 6 7 out of 10 is pretty fucking good when that's the best you can do,
Yeah.
Thought the theatrics of it were good. Couple of shake-ups on your standard cage, gimmick match type job. And yeah, it was like, I don't mind Braun Strowman so much as maybe you lads or other people do. Like, I actually like seeing the whole, is he the unstoppable monster type thing? Can he go in and get the job done? And he did it. He battled Vince's son, so can't complain about that.
Yeah, true. So we'll jump on to the next match, tag team match. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest against Miz and Morrison. My God, I don't want to go too in depth on it because I think that could be like a podcast or a video in itself, just going into how well Bad Bunny has adjusted to this. Yeah. But he had a really cool entrance with the big semi truck coming in, and my God, he absolutely tore the house down. The fans were on their feet for the chap, and like, he was just looked so comfortable. As Daryl said, you pointed out, is selling, fantastic selling. This move set as well, like I was saying to Daryl before we came on, I thought it was just going to be a few hip tosses or arm drags, but he did a lot more, and I mean a lot more. He made a show of the Miz and Morrison at certain points, which got a pop, and then hitting the crazy Canadian Destroyer on the outside of the ring, which is just mad. I know everyone does it nowadays, but still, it held some weight because you're like, whoa, I wasn't even expecting him to do any sort of wrestling moves at all. Do you know what I mean? So fantastic job from him, and Damian Priest as well. Obviously, he's a star. It looks like $1 million. And yeah, Miz and Morrison as well. Obviously, they did well in selling Bad Bunny to us. You know what I mean? In terms of like, oh Jesus, he's making a show of us, or he's actually haunting me. That kind of thing. It was great. Overall, really fun tag team match. Really enjoyed it actually. What about you, Darryl?
Yeah, it was great. Like, was not expecting him to be like that at all. And just letting Bad Bunny go over on the Miz, that speaks volumes about the Miz. Like how just dedicated he is to the business to let a celebrity like that just take the win on him. So yeah, the moves that he was pulling off were just absolutely fucking crazy, and it's nearly putting half the wrestlers that are out there to shame. That guy that's coming in, fucking a singer who's about 5'2", banging moves like that. Yeah, Damian Priest pants though, absolute Ross Geller's pants, fucking painted pink or purple.
Incredible. Oh man.
Yeah, it was savage though. Yeah. What about you, Glenn? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, he was kind of taking every word out of my mouth. Hot take: the best showing and best match from a non-wrestling celebrity that I've ever watched.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. In fairness, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just really fun to watch. Like, and like maybe brother and I were chatting about it and Wayne and stuff last night. I actually wouldn't even mind seeing Bad Bunny back in here. Whether it's still doing that tag team, actually wouldn't bother me because he's genuinely has a love for the business. You know what I mean? And fair play to him, he showed it.
It's like he's not there for the payday, he's there actually just to be involved in it, not just for the payday.
Yeah, he wants to actually prove something to maybe himself, his family, his friends, this, that, and do that, or just to the business in general. Like, right, you brought me in, I'm going to show what I can do now for you. So it's really good.
If AJ gets injured, he can team up with Omos.
There you go, yeah. Why not? What we'll do is we'll move on to the main event now. We have about 6 minutes left in this call, so we can bang it through, I'm sure. Bianca Belair. The crown of moment, my match of the night personally, just for how I was saying to Darryl before we came on. Sasha Banks, obviously a star anyway. She did what Rock did for Lesnar in at SummerSlam 02. This was the definition of a launch pad victory, and you've built a star in Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair took everything throughout our time in NXT, throughout our debut on the main roster. She's taken everything. She's like a sponge, and she just had one of the best women's matches of all time. Out straight, Horde and Sasha Banks tore the house down, and the right person won. Yeah, you had to give it to Belair, like you really did. It was just amazing. The chemistry as well, off the charts, and sometimes that can obviously go a bit wayward. First time actually wrestling each other, and then obviously on the show of shows, main eventing as well, and historic as well. 2 black women doing it for the first time ever, and yeah, I can't say enough about it. It was a 5-star match to me, anyway. What about you, Darryl? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 5-star match, hands down. Yeah, it's great from Sasha. I know we were saying it before. Yeah, she's after going 0-6, but I really don't think she cares about that at all. And like how she was happy seeing Bianca getting the win at the end of it after everything was done and dusted. But yeah, I think this is going to be great now for the women's division going forward, having the likes of maybe her leading with Ripley. It's going to be, it could be amazing like going forward. So after us slating it now for the last couple of months, this could be the turning point in it. But the match overall was amazing. We can see her maybe getting told to cut that hair, but that whip she gave Sasha Banks at the end, my God.
I nearly cut it in two. Mortal Kombat finisher. Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
Sindel over here, like.
Yeah, the noise of it. I was literally like, that has to be piped in. And then I watched it a few times.
That was when she
yeah, literally.
Like a man running after you with the kitchen towel.
Yeah, with a slipper. Give me that. Whopper. Great match. And the emotion beforehand, obviously, Bianca, the second she was announced, she couldn't stop. Like, you could see she was, it wasn't upset, obviously. She was just so excited. And it's that kind of, I've made it. So it was amazing to see. What about your thoughts on it, Glendon?
Yeah, I'll keep this one nice and short. One of the most well-deserved, well-earned, in hindsight, well-earned main events of any Mania. I put that in terms of the performance, in terms of the showmanship, in terms of the everything. I put that leagues and bounds above most of them big match feeling main events that I've seen, the likes of Rock, Cena and stuff. Absolutely leaps and bounds above all of those. Belair deserved the time in the spot, and a match like that has got me excited for future prospect matches. I'm left wanting more. It was honestly, I'm gonna throw caution to the wind there, and I'm gonna say in terms of what those women can do in a ring, I think it was match of the week. Which with what we got for the entire week, that's very fucking hard to say, considering they didn't need weapons and tools and gimmicks and gimmick matches and fucking, you know, non-referees. They didn't need any of that shit. It was just good quality wrestling. And it's got me excited for one particular prospect in the future with the week we've had, and it's Shiroi Belair for the women's title, maybe even next year's Mania, which would be easily the greatest women's match of all time. So I was very excited for that match. And excellent work. Both women fucking deserve 5 stars each.
Yeah, I'd well agree with that. Bring Shiroi to the main roster. Her and Bianca Belair can tear the house down. In fairness, Shiroi and anyone.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
But amazing. And I think it was just I can't even say enough about it. You know what I mean? Maybe one day I'll find the words to it, but I don't know. It felt monumental to me just sitting there watching it. I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, literally witnessing history. Do you know what I mean? And
eclipses Becky 2 belts and all that.
It literally does, and it's, as I said, it was a launch pad moment then for Bianca Belair as well. Like a fair ball, Sasha Banks, they had an absolute barn burner, and it is the likes of, say, what Hogan did for Warrior, what did I say, Rock did for Brock. So
what Triple H did for Booker T. Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, fucking Triple H, get the shovel out. But we'll leave it there. We won't go too much into that. Sorry, go on.
I no, the last thing I was only going to touch on was like, can we like say more props for like what the two women put together in so far as I'd say Banks could, her 0-6 record could honestly take the moniker of Mrs. WrestleMania, and it'd be just as earned as Michaels was with his straight record.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, it's not about the wins and losses, it's about what you do on that stage in that ring, and that's exactly what she's proven again. Banks is a star, but yeah, Belair now up to the moon now at this stage. So yeah, so that's I
think just before we go, I think just with after, I know at the start of WrestleMania when they were all out on the stage and how they were performing, I think with certain WrestleManias there was hit and miss matches, and you always get them. Yeah. And even with live events. But last night, I think every match, every superstar was just absolutely, there was like a fire lit under the hole.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think with the fans now being back, and I think this COVID, there's no fans there, nothing. I think this is going to be great for wrestling and WWE. I think it was taken for granted having fans there. Yeah. And now that it was taken away and now it's back, I think every superstar is just going to absolutely bust their balls week in, week out now. So I'm really looking forward to shows going forward. Like just normal Raw, SmackDowns, I'd say the matches are going to be stellar, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Nail on the head job there, yeah. Cannot wait now for night 2 as well tonight, so that's going to be a stormer as well. We've less than a minute here on this now, so we'll just wrap this up. That was our WrestleMania Night 1 recap, review, whatever you want to call it. We all loved it, as you can tell. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, as I said at the start of the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, let us know what your match of the night was and what you thought of the show as a whole. If you are listening to this on your podcast platforms, give us a follow there, it really helps us out. And then on social medias, let me see, Discus Lariat on Twitter, Discus Lariat Collective on Instagram. And then until tomorrow, we'll see you soon.